So many of us are here today because we care about our careers, our campuses, our companies, and our constituents. But being here also means the work is piling up while we're here. So you probably worked on your way here on the plane or the train. You're probably working, on the breaks. You might be working right now. And if you're on the live stream, we're probably minimized in the little corner because you're writing code or you're writing content. But that's because when we have knowledge-based jobs, like all of us here do, the work seemingly never ends. Even when we're physically not there, we're thinking about it, we're processing it, we're emotionally tied to it. But some of us are better at quitting time than others and taking care of our mind, body, and spirit. So this talk is really for those who are overworked and underplayed. So, we have so many responsibilities, not just at work, but in our personal lives. But when we work so much, we can get stressed and frustrated, and that can lead to aches and pains and lack of fulfillment and even depression. Stuart Brown, who wrote a book called Play, calls this a play deficit. So we don't want a play deficit. We still want to have a good time with what we're doing, and we still want to like our jobs and be happy when we're outside office hours. So play and just a general sense of curiosity can really help with that. And the word we use for sports and pastime and play is recreation. But if you take apart that word, recreation, when we pay attention to that, it literally makes us new again. So we can't ignore that biological need to play. So I want to start by introducing my friend Jenny. She is the youngest spirited person I know. She has found a way to make a career out of fun. She's a professional hula hooper and a clowner, and she does some serious things too. But she has never lost her sense of childlike wonder. So maybe you're a Jenny, or maybe you need to find a Jenny in your life and surround yourself with her. She does a great event once a month in her garage. She calls it the Little Theater of the House of the Car, and she made a black box theater in her garage. And people will come up and do stand-up bits. They might read a poem, they might play a song or dance or juggle, but whatever they're doing, they're escaping from their everyday life, and we're laughing and having fun and just letting loose. So we could go, there's so much science behind the idea of play, and we can't really dive into it within 10 minutes, but as you all know, play is so important to the development of children. But we can't forget that as adults, we're still making connections, we're still adapting and learning. And one thing that play is really good for is coming up with these pretend narratives that can help us in our professional lives and even in our personal lives. So you don't want to forget to play because it really can boost your brain power. Scott Eberle, he's a VP at the National Museum of Play in Rochester, and he describes the elements of play. So as you can see, there's many parts to it. So it shows that it really does stuff to our brains and bodies. But the one I'll point out here, just for lack of time, is anticipation. That one is so important to me because in a day of instant access to information, in a day of spoilers, we kind of lost that joy of the wait, waiting for tickets to go on sale or waiting, for that next episode to come out. But when you sit down to play a board game or you start to venture out for a road trip, part of the fun is that unexpected, not knowing what's going to happen. So I think we need to replace that a little bit more in our lives and not just, get everything instantly. And then of course there's all the other elements of play, such as having fun and mastering the art and then just repeating it. There's going to be a link to this for all the definitions of the play personalities because there's 8 of them. But I encourage you to look these up and see where you fit. And then once you discover if you're the joker or you're the storyteller, find those activities and pastimes that can help you with that. So maybe you're a competitor and you like sports or individual play, or maybe you're the director. Maybe you're the one that likes to plan family board game night or the after work happy hours, because for you, fun is planning the fun. So find out where you fit in here. It's really interesting to read about all the different play types. Nathan Leslie wrote a great book called Curiosity, and curiosity and play really go together. I love this quote. We're getting so used to easy answers that we're forgetting how to ask questions. Curiosity is something that my mom taught me. When she was a teenager, she was walking around. She lived outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in a town called Willow Grove, and she was bored one day, and she went to the sewage treatment plant, went in, and told the people that she was working on a science project, so she got a tour. And it was just bored. She was bored, and it led to discovery for her. Now, knowing my mom and when and where she grew up, her boredom probably led to mischief too. But in this particular case, it led to a great discovery. So, never forget to explore. So how this kind of pertains to your everyday work, and Ben Franklin is oops, sorry, I have lots of things around my neck here. Ben Franklin is a classic example of a highly curious person that led to some really great things. But the more we play and the more we pay attention to the world around us, we can make these connections and see, the possibilities where ordinary observers don't. So never forget to have that sense of wonder and ask what if. Think about all the inventions and the discoveries and the cures. It was probably because of a question that somebody was ridiculed for asking. Oh, that's so silly. But that's where innovation comes from. So, whether it's in your personal life or in your career, never stop asking what if, because you never know what you could dream up that could come into play. So along with the sense of wonder, you also need to wander. Take the scenic route, get lost, take a detour. A couple years ago, my husband and I were driving from Pennsylvania to Minneapolis to a conference, and I thought, North Dakota is the next state over, and we saw the movie Fargo, so we just drove 4 hours out of the way just to get a picture with the wood chipper. They had the hats there and everything. And then we had some tacos, and we went back to Minneapolis, and it was an 8-hour ordeal just for that picture. So, and obviously, you don't want to miss something important to go out of the way to go to North Dakota. But, wander if you can. You never know what you're going to discover and what it might lead to. It's also about savoring. Another story about my mom, when she got her Easter basket, she would eat all the candy right away. I know I'd probably do the same thing. But my Aunt Joan, her sister, would save it, and she would eat like 1 piece a day. So 2 weeks later, my mom would be bawling her eyes out because her sister still had candy. But it's just because Joan knew how to manage it better. She understood very early the art of savoring something. So it's not just about food, but think about those everyday moments in your life. When you see something spectacular or incredible or beautiful, we just so instantly go for our phones to take a picture of it and to tell the rest of the world where we're at. But you're going to remember those moments together or better if you're actually participating in them. So just stop and don't take a picture right away. I mean, still take one, because we still, need to have them, but just savor the moments a little more. You also need to, I'm going to turn this around. You also need to remember to take time to reflect. Nathan Leslie says curiosity will lead to better work, but only if it has time to breathe. And that's really important. You can't connect all those dots if you never take the time to reflect. When they do studies on otters and different animals about how they complete different tasks, they found that the otters will do the task differently just because it's fun. So I want you to embrace your otterness and maybe try to find new ways of doing things than maybe you previously tried. And this is from the Seattle Aquarium where I fell in love with otters. It was great. Also, make sure you fill yourself with joy. I want you right now to think back between you were like 10 to 13 years old, when you had the most fun, what you did, when you laughed the hardest with your friends or cousins or classmates or family members. What was it that gave you joy? Think about it. Try and bring some of that back to your life. Stuart Brown, who wrote the book Play, calls that heart play. Those are the things in your life that just bring you the most amount of joy. Maybe you'll rediscover something that you lost a long time ago. And I also want you to fill your curio. Fill your curio cabinet. What makes you curious? And just research it. Go beyond the internet. Check out some books. Go to museums. Explore. Just see what you discover and what new connections you can make. So how do you do all this? Again, we only have a short amount of time, but the easiest way is schedule it in. Before I left my past institution, I would block in time every morning to read. I would block in time in the afternoon to brainstorm and just think. Because if you just have meeting after meeting after meeting, and you're doing your busy work, you're never going to have time to put things together and have time to be inspired. And tell your supervisors or direct reports that alone time, that thinking time is important to you. And then finally, to close, a strategy that worked for me, I started this a couple years ago, but it was called analog after 8. So after 8 o'clock or about, I would turn off technology, and it was my most productive year ever when I started to do this. I read more, I wrote more, I was inspired, and this is when I decided to quit my job and become self-employed because I just found inspiration. Now, admittedly, I kind of got away from doing this, and I got busy again, and I got more connected. But try some type of strategy like analog after 8 to kind of turn things off. So I hope in this short presentation it inspired you to get out there and play a little bit more, maybe ask more questions, and you can just see how it improves your work life and your personal life. Thank you.